What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, bringing you some more Series 12 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. For one last time, we are using this Yveldon team as part of my 4 rental teams for the month. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. It just has a lot of fun teams that I really wanted to end the series with. And so looking at my opponent's first team, it is going to be Rinya. So it is going to be Zacian, Groudon, Charizard, Incineroar, a Gastrodon, and the Grimmsnarl. And so there are a couple different options here. I think I really like Venusaur for sure. Just having access to ways to hit everything that is not necessarily Charizard. So I think Groudon, Venusaur is a really good option here. I want to bring Cinderace just because we haven't really been using it much. And then Yveltal I think is fine here. But it's the Surfetched episode, so we're going to bring Surfetched. It's not the Surfetched episode, but like we're using Surfetched. I think though, Cinderace does have a lot of really good options here. Potentially we want to go for damage onto that Charizard, right? Being able to put it to sleep is also really important. So trying to set up accordingly. We do just have to be a little bit weary of the fact that Charizard can go for like an Airstream turn 1 and put us in a little bit of a tricky spot. But I feel pretty good, and definitely make sure to subscribe. We are working our way towards 1 billion subscribers, and we really cannot get there without you. And so looking at my opponent's lead, right, we're going to see a Gastrodon as well as the Charizard. So a lot of different options here, right? There is the very big potential switch of the Gastrodon out. We do set the Sun for their Charizard, so that's obviously not very good. I'm fine to... Do I want to go for a Vine Lash here? Part of me is thinking, right, let's go for the Max Guard, and then try and knock out this Charizard with a Rock Tomb. So but also at the same time, right, like, I'm going to go for the Vine Lash onto the Gastrodon, and go for the Rock Tomb onto the Charizard, right? Like, even if you switch out into Zacian, it's not necessarily the end of the world for us, as we're going to actually see no switch at all. So probably just going straight for the Max Charizard. If it's not an Airstream, we're good. If it's an Airstream as well, we're also kind of fine, just given the fact that we do have access to Cinderace, and more importantly, our Venusaur will maintain its Sash, which is something that can definitely come up to benefit us later. And it looks like we're actually going to see no Max coming out from the Charizard. So just giving us that Gastrodon for free is just like a really nice position to be in, right? Like, we're immediately getting rid of the threat. The important thing though is my opponent is staggering their max by a turn, right? Like, they're saying, hey, we can continue to max after you, which is always really risky. But we are also getting a lot of damage onto their Charizard, and we're going to get a lot of damage onto whatever is coming out, right? Like, they did take the Solar Power as well as the Vine Lash. They're going to take multiple turns of the Vine Lash, so that's something that we have working out in our favor, as we are going to see, yep, this is going to be the Zacian coming out here. And I think once again we want to just go for the Flare into the Zacian slot. Yeah, we can go for the Flare here, as well as go for another Rock Tomb, just trying to scare away this Charizard, right? The Flare going to start, I mean, not the Flare, the Vine Lash going to start building up, and so we can kind of take advantage of that. We could see a potential Protect from the Zacian, as well as a Wildfire into either the Groudon or the Venusaur. I think both are legitimate options here, but like that Charizard, as we can see, is like really not in the best spot. It's going to take a ton of recoil this turn, as we're seeing perfect no Protect coming out from the Zacian, so just eating up a Max Flare, and unfortunately not going down, just barely surviving. But that does mean, right, we are going to get it at the end of this turn with this Vine Lash, but there is a good chance we're going to lose both of our Pokemon here, as we actually do see the Blade go into the Venusaur, bring us down to our Sash. So this probably suggests to me that this is a very offensive Zacian, right, double Max and Max, as they are actually instead going to Wildfire into the Venusaur. So this is really good for me, right? You're not getting any speed, and we're getting a Rock Tomb out onto your Charizard, which means that Cinderace is going to be able to outspeed, which is a huge thing for us. As we are going to also see the Charty Berry reveal. I was like, did it miss? But we are still getting almost, like, this Charizard now is under half right? And we get the speed drop, which means, I mean, we already know that Cinderace is guaranteed to outspeed. The solar power putting this Charizard super low at this point. We can, I think, freely bring out the Cinderace here and go for damage there. We also do have Groudon still at full, so that's something we have working for us. We could potentially go for a Protect this last turn, just trying to stall out whatever they have. Do I want to bring out Sirfetch'd to bring out Sirfetch'd? Not really. I'm going to bring out Cinderace. I think it makes the most sense here. Just trying to preserve some damage, as we are going to see the last one coming out. It is going to be this Groudon. And so we have a couple options here, right? We can go for the Pyro Ball into the Groudon. I want to assume that from this, like, in the sun, with everything working in our favor, this should be enough to pick up the knockout. And I'm going to go for a Rock Tomb onto this Zard, just with the idea that we've gotten so much residual damage already. The Zard is not going to be lasting very long. Also, there is the speed drop. I think that means our Groudon should outspeed. So that's definitely something that works in our favor. But worst case, right, we do have that Sirfetch'd, which can go for the feint to break through that Protect. And given the fact that there's still turns of Vine Lash left, like, that is something that is going to work in our favor, as we are going to connect the Pyro Ball. I'm hoping with the Sun and the Stab, this should do a really big chunk. Not quite enough for the KO, but it should put us in range. As Rock Tomb, yeah, we are going to be faster than this Charizard, being enough to get that knockout. And at this point, right, you can go for the Precipice Blades. We do still have access to Sirfetch'd in the back, and that should be more than enough to clean up. And so it is going to avoid the Groudon. I don't think that it mattered, right? We are going to outspeed guaranteed. Cinderace, unfortunately, going to go down here, but like I said, not an issue at all. We do have access to Sirfetch'd in the back, as we still have two turns of Vine Lash. It could be one. Either way, yeah, either way, the Groudon is low. We know that the Sirfetch'd is faster, so we can go for the Brave Bird pretty freely to avoid any sort of accuracy issues. Also go for the Rock Tomb, just for fun. But yeah, clicking Brave Bird into the Groudon, as well as go for the Rock Tomb. I don't think there's any reason to risk the accuracy of a Precipice Blaze, as we do luckily get to end with the Sirfetch'd going for some damage, right? This is kind of our support Pokemon, but obviously it's always cool to see it take a little bit more of an offensive route. So I think they're disconnecting here. It looks like that, given the fact that we're seeing some pauses here with everything. So, oh no, just a slow connection. Was definitely worried about that, but glad we were able to pull it through. So overall, I think it was just a really solid first game. We were able to utilize our resources, and I think we just kind of won the lead there of putting on immediate pressure onto our opponent. So that really helped us out, but overall, really solid first battle, and let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. All right, battle number 2, and it is Zacian Kyogre. It is Zacian, Urshifu, Zapdos, Kyogre, Cinderace, and Rillaboom. So a lot of really interesting stuff here. And the question now is what do I think is best? Grimmsnarl, I think, has potential to put in some work, right? It does have access to screens, which can really sort of help. It also does have T-Wave, and I'm a big fan of just paralyzing everything. I could lead Venusaur. I kind of like Venusaur Yveltal. I think that puts me in a really strong position with Groudon, and then we could bring Sirfetch'd. Sirfetch'd doesn't actually do anything. Does it do anything? It breaks Sash on Urshifu, so I kind of like it for that. We don't really have to worry about fake out pressure, so I would rather just play a little bit more hyper offensive with Cinderace. I think that this is our best bet. We do have the ability to kind of pivot. One thing we have to be a little bit wary of is the Zapdos, but being able to, I think, go for Snarls right off the bat. Also potentially, I don't know if we should risk a Sleep Powder, but we might, because like they could also be Goggles. I know that there are variants of that run Goggles, as we are going to see the Cinderace and the Zapdos. So we're pretty badly pinned here. I think it's worth going for a Snarl. Only one of these can match. And I think that that's important to remember. I would very much like, I'm going to bring out my own, do I want to bring out Cinderace? I don't really want to bring out Cinderace here. Yeah, Venusaur being slower than everything is hard. I'm going to go for a sleep into the Cinderace as well as pop out into Groudon. Just trying to put something to sleep right this way. If you want to try and go for a Lightning or a Thunderbolt into the Yveltal, you're not going to get it. And I think Cinderace is going to be your main max of choice. We could potentially see this be like a weird support Cinderace. I know it does have some solid options, right, with things like Court Change. But this is putting us in a really tight spot. It really depends, though, on who's going to max. I'm hoping, like I said, it is going to be that Cinderace, and we're going to see the Zapdos go for a Thunderbolt into the Yveltal, as we are going to perfect see the Cinderace. So far, so good. Like I said, as long as we hit this Sleep Powder, we should be Golden Girl overall, but there is still several different factors that have to come out here, as we're going to hit the Sleep Powder, which is overall huge, right? Like one turn of your max automatically just gone. We should hopefully, like I said, see the Lightning Bolt into the Groudon, as we're going to see a Heat Wave. So Heat Wave, I think, is a very good middle ground here, right? It is going to bring the Venusaur down to a Sash. And so now the big question is, what do we want to go for here? I think it's fine to go for a Helping Hand onto the Groudon, as well as go for a Raw... I'm gonna go for a Quake into the the Cinderace. I think we need Groudon as healthy as possible, given the fact that we're expecting to see what's it called? A Kyogre, or not a Kyogre, a Zacian most likely in the back. And so this Groudon really is going to be our only answer into it, which we're obviously not putting in a very good position by having it take so much damage. But hopefully with the Citrus proc, we should be able to survive at Precipice Blade. We are playing a little bit of a dangerous game, as it like I said, it is going to come down to sleep things. I could have, as someone is going to point out in the comments, put the Zapdos to sleep. That also would have been a very safe play. Which in hindsight, you know, you're right. I should have very well just gone for a Sleep Powder into the Zapdos and taken no damage on my Groudon. But instead, we are going to just get rid of that Cinderace. It looks like it might be a Focus Sash variant. Is it Focus Sash? No, it is not going to be the Focus Sash. That's perfect. We can bring out our Cinderace at this point, which is great, right? We threaten with a ton of damage with that Max Flare into something like a Zacian. If I can get the controller to stop drifting, can you please stop that? Thank you very much. We now have the special defense boost, right, which should help. We're going to see the Kyogre come out, so that's a little bit bad, as the children would say, especially because Cinderace... okay, so Cinderace we can change into Dark type. I think what we want to do here is we want to go for a Sucker Punch and basically try and make the Kyogre's attack as weak as possible. So I could High Jump Kick. I'm going to High Jump Kick the Kyogre and go for a Quake onto the Ogre. Do I Rockfall the... I'm going to Quake into the Kyogre. This is risky. Oh, it's Scarfed. So that's unfortunate, as we're going to miss the High Jump Kick too. Oh, okay, wait, we're just turning into a fighting type. We haven't missed the High Jump Kick yet. It's going to do almost enough for the knockout onto this Ogre. So assuming we survive this Hurricane, which we don't because of the crit, we're unfortunately going to lose our Groudon here. But we do get out our we do get out our Kyogre. I mean, not our Kyogre, our Yveltal for free here, which also isn't in the best stop that position. But what we can, okay, so what we can, we can double Sucker Punch this turn. I think that that's fine. I think what we want to do is we want to Sucker Punch the Kyogre because we know it's locked in. We want to Sucker Punch into the Zapdos and then Sucker Punch into the Kyogre to try it, because we know it's locked into Origin Pulse. We saw the Scarf. So this Sucker Punch going to come out. I'm hoping it does a big chunk into this Zapdos. I will take that damage. It's really good damage overall. We're going to see the Rocky helmet reveal, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we will be able to knock out this Kyogre. We should be taking quite a bit onto our Cinderace here, as we are going to see the Hurricane actually come out. So this might be enough for the knockout. It unfortunately is. So as a result, I don't think we're able to take this. I think if we had the Groudon, we would have been in a lot better of a position, because then we could have kind of played around to our strengths. Whereas now, right, like it's a Zacian. It's gonna Behemoth Blade me, and I can't really do anything about it. It can go for a foul play. I mean, a play rough. So my out is like, what, you miss 2 play roughs, and like Zapdos just doesn't, or you have Wild Charge. That's an option. So we're getting it. We are faster than the Zapdos. So if I had known that, I could have done absolutely nothing differently. But the Thunderbolt, yeah, gonna be out enough for the knockout. So definitely a little bit unfortunate. I probably should have gone for the sleep onto the Zapdos, right? If we had put both things to sleep, we would have just been in such a strong position. And I think that was a legitimate out of just trying to target things down with the sleep. But we chose to go for the Helping Hand. I'm curious on the Zacian spread. Yeah, Super Max and Max. We're seeing no Protect, which I think is an interesting choice of just going for attack. Also no Sacred Sword. So also a really interesting move there. So now I'm curious about the rest of this team. We're going to see the Urshifu counter Urshifu. So once again, not something you see every day with the Focus Sash. Rocky Helmet Zapdos. Interesting that it's max speed and somehow we outsped with Yveltal. Is this quiet? Or is this... I don't know what nature this is. It looks quiet. But once again, we're seeing absolutely no protects on this team. The Scarf Kyogre, the Cinderace coming out here. Fireball, yeah, pretty standard on the Cinderace. So Rillaboom, Miracle Seed, Superpower. So some interesting stuff for sure. No fake out, but overall an interesting second battle. Let's just keep rocking and rolling and play one more. All right, last battle of the day, and it is Groudon Calyrex. It is Groudon Calyrex, Porygon 2, a Tangrowth, Incineroar, and Regieleki. So this really screams to me Venusaur Groudon as a lead. Even in Trick Room, we still have a favorable matchup. I like Sirfetch'd because Sirfetch'd is great. Probably Sirfetch'd Yveltal here. Cinderace, I think, offers a lot, but not enough. Grimmsnarl doesn't do anything better that Yveltal couldn't do. Yveltal threatens a lot more. And right, we do have a favorable matchup into this Regieleki with a combination of both Venusaur as well as Groudon. So I'm not worried about that there. I think if we can get off an early Vine Lash, which we should be able to do, that should put us in a really strong position, right? Being able to just, start firing off some damage. We could potentially like go for a Sleep Powder. We could max Groudon and go for a Quake. We're going to say Groudon Tangrowth. So this is fine with me. We have the immediate option to just go for a Vine Lash into the Groudon, which I'm okay with. This could be like Chlorophyll Tangrowth, but we should still outspeed that. So that's fine with me. Nope, stop that. Thank you. We could also go for a Sleep Powder into the into you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna switch out into Sirfetch'd, mainly because I don't care if Sirfetch'd goes down. And I want to, I don't know what this Tangrowth is going to do. And like, if it puts Sirfetch'd to sleep, it puts Sirfetch'd to sleep. And that's like kind of the only thing we have to worry about. So we're going to see the max coming out from us. So that says, even if you are like fast Tangrowth, we are still outspeeding with Venusaur, which I think is going to be important, right? Just trying to control how these speeds work. I'm once again getting drifted in my Pro Controller, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. And so hopefully it doesn't come up to be an issue. But we still got to play around that a little bit. As we're going to see a Vine, so no Protect coming out here, doing a very solid chunk into this Groudon. Not as much as I would have liked it to do, in all honesty, but still doing a good amount. As yeah, we are going to see the Sleep Powder from this Tangrowth come out into my Sirfetch'd. Not a big deal. Sirfetch'd really isn't doing much here. And we're going to see the Fire Punch from the Groudon doing a very, very big chunk to the point where I don't really want to... I'm wondering if it's worth going for a Max Guard and just kind of ignoring... It's going to go down the next turn, so I would much rather use my max turns to put on pressure. We do have Yveltal in the back. I'm just going to click Brave Bird as to not quote-unquote reveal my priority moves. But yeah, knowing Groudon is going to withdraw. Okay, so we are going to see the withdrawal, which is huge, right? We can go for damage, as it is going to be that Porygon 2. So Porygon 2 going to come out here. Definitely a potential problem, right? Because of the fact that... Porygon 2 definitely a problem because of the fact that it can recover. So we want to try and figure out the best sort of play. And I think the ideal is to KO everything else. I wish we had knockoff on Sirfetch'd. I don't know if it gets it. I think it does, and I was thinking about running it, but it eventually opted against it. But I'm still just going to go for a Max Strike here. We do have... I'm wondering if a Vine Lash into the Porygon 2 with a Helping Hand is enough for the knockout. We should also respect that Tangrowth is like a legitimate threat. Sirfetch'd staying asleep here, so that's really frustrating. As the Vine Lash going to come out here, doing not enough damage to even matter with the Helping Hand. Energy Ball going to come out from the Tangrowth, not a big deal. We're going to see the Foul Play. So this is scary, right? We don't have that option of just going for... okay, so I think what we need to do is I think we need to Sleep Powder the Porygon 2. I think our only chance of winning this is if we put Porygon 2 to sleep and go for Brave Bird into it, just trying to get the knockout. Because I think with Porygon 2 gone, we win. We've also wasted all of our max turns, which is always great, as we are going to see probably, yep, we're going to see the Calyrex come out here. Calyrex is fine. We have Sucker Punch. I just need to get rid of this Porygon 2. And I think if we can do that, we're fine. We are going to connect with the Sleep Powder. That's huge for me. Being able to just try and get rid of this Porygon 2 as much as possible. We're going to have it take its mandatory turn of sleep. More importantly, we're going to see that it's faster than the Sirfetch'd. So that is definitely a little bit scary, but I'm hoping with the Vine Lash we can get the knockout there, as that should hopefully help us out. We can also, this is fun, we can break the Protect on Calyrex and try and put it to sleep, and we can just start like putting stuff to sleep, which I think is kind of fun. Right? Nothing at this point is stopping me from clicking Faint and Sleep Powder into everything. And, you know, I'm just going to do that. I very well could just Leaf Storm. Did I just Leaf Storm last turn? Venusaur is at... No, Venusaur's at neutral. I'm going to Sleep Powder into the Calyrex just because I think it's funny. And we're going to go for a Faint onto it as well, just to stop it from doing its things. Because, like, okay, sad. I was really hoping for Protect there. We are going to connect the Sleep Powder. That's awesome. I'm hoping for Tangrowth to pick up a knockout onto my Sirfetch'd. It's not. It's instead going to go for the right play of going for the Sleep Powder. I wonder if it's worth switching out into Groudon. I'm gonna Weather Ball the Tangrowth and switch out into Groudon. Nope, stop that. Just trying to get the flare damage out. We have Yveltal with Sucker Punch, so I'm not actually worried at all about this Calyrex, right? Like we have the ability just to Sucker Punch you. We also have the ability to foul play the Groudon. So I think it's just really about setting up a position where we get rid of this Tangrowth. As Weather Ball going to come out here. I'm hoping that they don't go for a Sleep Powder, or we just get the knockout. So shout out to Venusaur for sure for that one. And at this point, right, like Calyrex going... Oh, after the Venusaur. I was like, Calyrex going last. But probably just going for an Astral Barrage. At this point, right, we can go for the Leaf Storm onto the Groudon, and we can go, oh, Groudon is so low. Haha. I think at this point, we can, like I said, we can go for the Weather Ball. I think Weather Ball is fine here, as well as going for the Precipice Blades. We should outspeed their Groudon with ours, because this one is designed to be faster than like the majority of Groudons. So really hoping that that plays a role here. But the Flare should hopefully be enough to get the knockout, as we're going to see a Max coming out here. I think that that's fine, but I think because of the fact that we are going to be faster with Yveltal, it's not a big deal, because we can just go for, what's it called? We can just go for a Foul Play onto the Groudon, and then we can just pin the Calyrex with Sucker Punch. Even if they start playing for Super Protects, right, we can go for a Snarl. We also do have Surf Etch, so that should hopefully help us out, as we're unfortunately not going to get the knockout there. Calyrex going to stay asleep, so we love to see that. Precipice Blade's going to double connect, so more than enough at this point, right, to get rid of that Max. Also bring Calyrex down real low, where it should be in range of a what's it called? The Weather Ball. So we can go for a Weather Ball into this Venusaur, or into this Calyrex, as well as go for a Rock Tomb. I don't want to risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. I could have brought out, you know what? I should have brought out Surf Etched, and just gone for Surf Etched Feint to get the knockout, because I really wanted to show this off. But you know, it did a lot, and it put in work. So that's all we're running with this team. I think it's been fun. I think it does have some unique things that make it a little bit cooler. I think Surf Etch definitely helped out for sure. Obviously, the Feint didn't end up mattering, as the Venusaur, or as the Calyrex didn't protect, but you know, like, it could have. And we were able to sponge some hits, so it did what it needed to do. Definitely make sure to check out the other teams. We will be using Cosmoem, and then hopefully, for the most part, doing Series 13, barring some occasional Series 12 things. So with that, until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.